What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my LG K92 5G review. So let's get started. This video is sponsored by Septix and their 65-watt power strip with quick charging. With this power strip, we're getting quick charge 3.0 with the USB-A port. We're also getting two USB-C ports. We're also getting a full-sized outlet, and in addition to that, they've also included an ungrounded wall outlet. You also get two different options when it comes to the main wall adapter here. We have this setup, but you can also take this out, and if you need a longer power cable, you can then connect the included 5-foot cable. So definitely a lot of different options with the 65-watt power strip from Septix. I will be leaving a link in the video description, and thanks again to them for sponsoring this video. So this is the LG K92 5G. In general, this phone has been a very nice surprise from LG. We haven't really even seen another device from them with this design, so we're getting a unique design here with the phone, but we're also getting some really cool and unique features. Now this device is being offered by AT&T, Cricket Wireless, and then also US Cellular. It does feature an MSRP of $399, however, nobody's paying $399 for this phone. And the reason for that is because all the various carriers are offering a bunch of different deals. Hey everyone, I just realized while editing this video that you can actually get some really good deals on the K92 5G over on eBay. You can get the phone either brand new, you can get it open box, refurbished, or used. And there are a lot of different options. So if you do want to get this phone, you might want to consider taking a look at those as well, because that might be the best way to go. And I will be linking that in the video description. But again, you can see here, they do have quite a few different options. So definitely take a look. And the reason for that is because all the various carriers are offering a bunch of awesome deals and discounts for this phone. Now, unfortunately, it's not being offered factory unlocked, so you do have to get it from one of those carriers. So if you happen to be a customer of AT&T, Cricket, or US Cellular, then at least you do have this phone as an option for you. Now it is possible that in the future they will offer this phone factory unlocked. However, I have not seen any evidence of that happening anytime soon or at all. Now before we go into more details about the actual phone itself, I do want to give you a quick look at the box and everything that does come included. So obviously this is the Cricket Wireless variant of the phone. You get this nice green box here. You can see on the side, LG K92 5G, some other regulatory information on the side of the box. You can see LG Pay support, which is really awesome. And then also some brief specifications about the phone on the back of the box. Then inside, we're getting the quick start guide for the phone. We're also getting a USB wall adapter that is a fast charge adapter. And then finally, we are getting a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. Now here is the actual phone itself. You can see that with the device, we are getting a very large display at 6.7 inches. Now up top here, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and that front-facing camera is 16 megapixels. Now stay tuned to later on in the video, as we'll be showing you a variety of different photo and video samples here from the phone. Now the display on here is an IPS LCD display at 1080p. We're getting a PPI of 393, a 20:9 aspect ratio, and an 84.4% screen-to-body ratio. So in general, I think it has a really nice design here on the front. It would have been a nice upgrade if the phone would have gotten an OLED display, but the LCD panel on here is good enough and it does get the job done. I'm at least grateful that we are getting a hole punch for the front-facing camera instead of a water drop notch that we have seen with many of LG's latest mid-range and higher-end phones, like the LG Velvet and the LG V60. I'm not a fan of the water drop notch, and I do prefer the hole punch design that we are getting here with the LG K92 5G. So hopefully we get a similar setup to this phone with future LG smartphones, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But overall, pretty small bezels here with the phone, a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel, but overall, again, I have zero complaints about it, and I think it is a good looking handset. Now internally, with the LG K92 5G, we're getting 128 gigabytes of storage, and we're also getting microSD card expansion. So I definitely appreciate that we're getting so much internal storage here with the phone, and with 128 gigs, you'll likely have plenty of space as you download different apps, take photos and videos with the device, and do anything else that does involve using the internal storage. Now, since getting the phone, I have installed a variety of my favorite applications. I've also taken photos and videos with it as well. And with that, and also the pre-installed applications and the system software, I have already used 28% of the internal storage. So again, I am very grateful that we are getting 128 gigs because that does give me plenty of extra space to work with. Now with this device, we do have a side-mounted fingerprint sensor. That's actually one of my favorite placements for a fingerprint sensor, and I'm really glad that LG did make that decision here with the phone. And thankfully, it does work very quickly and accurately. So that's awesome as well. But in general, I feel like this is the best placement for the fingerprint sensor. It is convenient having it on the rear of the phone, and also I don't mind when it's built into the display, but I feel like having it on the power button probably is the most convenient overall, and it also seamlessly fits into the design of the actual phone itself. Now, unfortunately, the LG K92 5G does not support Face Unlock, which isn't a deal breaker because we do have that really awesome fingerprint sensor, but I am a big fan of having multiple methods to getting into the phone beyond using a pin code or a swipe pattern. So I really do wish that this phone did have Face Unlock, especially also because its main competitor, the Samsung Galaxy A51 5G, does have Face Unlock. Now here's how things look on the camera app with the LG K92 5G. This is with the main camera on the device. We do have a quad camera setup, so we are getting a 64 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and then also a 5 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. So you can see things do look really nice and clear here. Then from there we can switch over to the ultra wide angle camera so that we're able to fit quite a bit extra into the frame here. So the ultra wide mode is especially helpful when you're out and about and maybe outdoors or something and you really want a lot of your surroundings to be in the photo. That's really where the ultra wide angle camera comes in handy the most. But I'm really glad that we do have that here with the phone. Then for the depth sensing camera, you're going to be using that with portrait mode. So you're going to get those nice blurred out backgrounds. There's also some different blur effects available as well. But stay tuned for an upcoming dedicated LG K92 5G camera tips and tricks video, as we'll be showing you everything that there is to know about this camera app, because they do have quite a few options here. Then from here we can go over to the More tab, and then we can access the macro camera, and then we're able to take close-up pictures in really good detail. So I really do appreciate that we're getting so many different camera features with the phone, whether it's with the actual camera hardware itself or with the software in the main camera app. And I almost forgot to show you the front-facing camera. Here's how things look. Maybe not the best quality you've ever seen, but definitely good enough for a phone in this segment. Now there is no wireless charging with the LG K92 5G, which is understandable because none of its competitors offer wireless charging. Now with this device, we're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM and the Qualcomm Snapdragon 690 5G processor. Now the 690 is a relatively new processor from Qualcomm, and in general I have been satisfied with the performance that this phone does get with that processor. It's certainly not the fastest processor out there ever, nor is it supposed to be, but it's also not the slowest out there either. So for the majority of people out there, this will get the job done for you. You're going to have plenty of power. The device will perform plenty fast for watching video content, going on social media, sending text messages, phone calls. Maybe if you're someone that's into high performance gaming, for example, then this phone won't really be powerful enough for that. But again, for most people out there, this is going to be totally fine. Now I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 5 with this device. I got a single core score of 607 and a multi-core score of 1830. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current device and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of how this phone compares to your current phone. Now video recording with the device does max out at 4K at 30 FPS with the rear camera and 1080p at 30 FPS with the front-facing camera. So it is nice that we do get 4K video recording with the LG K92 5G. Now with this device, we are getting a 4,000 milliamp hour internal battery, so pretty decent. I would have liked to see 4,500 or 5,000, but 4,000 is good enough, so again, no complaints with that. Now as far as the software goes, the phone does run Android 10 with LG Skin laid over the top. I have no idea if, when, or ever this phone will get Android 11 or Android 12. LG does not necessarily have the best track record when it comes to updating their phones for a long period of time. So I certainly wouldn't buy this device expecting to get major software updates in the future. But then again, the software on here is perfectly fine. So if things did remain exactly as is for the long term, then I think that's okay too. Now this device does feature NFC. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, it of course does feature LG Pay compatibility. So if you are someone that likes to make mobile payments, whether that's with LG Pay or Google Pay or maybe another service, then you can do that here with the LG K92 5G. Another awesome thing about this phone too is that it does feature stereo speakers, so you will get audio coming out of both the main bottom speaker, but then also out of the earpiece when listening to music, watching video content, or doing anything that involves using the speakers. In general, I've been happy with the photo and video quality from the LG K92 5G. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, pretty much nobody's spending $400 on this phone because the carriers are giving such great discounts on it. So if you judge the camera quality based off of a $400 phone, then yes, it is going to be inferior to the Google Pixel 4a. But if you compare the photo and video quality to like a $200 phone or like a $250 phone, then I think things actually are really good here with the K92 5G. So I'll let you be the judge for yourself. You can see the photos right here in front of you, so I'm curious to know what you think about that. But now I'll show you some video samples from the phone. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with a 4K test video with the LG K92. This is using the main camera at 30 FPS. Nice, smooth autofocus in video mode, which is awesome. Let me know what you think. And here's a test video with the LG K92 at 1080p using the main camera. I'm really curious about the audio quality in addition to the video quality as well. And here's a 1080p video using the ultra wide angle camera with the LG K92. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with a 4K front-facing test video with the LG K92. So let me know what you think about both the video quality and the audio quality as well from this test video. But from what I can see through the viewfinder, colors look really good, which is great. And here's a 1080p front-facing test video with the LG K92. So, let me know what you think of the quality from this as well. It looks super crisp, again, from what I can see through the viewfinder. I'm really excited to load this footage up on my computer and see how it looks. Now the K92 5G is really good for web browsing. Things run nice and smoothly here, so that's awesome. But in addition to that, having this really big display is especially good for content consumption. If you want to use the phone to read an article or an ebook, for example, you are going to be able to see the text very clearly, so I definitely appreciate that.
Thing I want to show you guys is an easy way to open the camera. Now it's easy enough just to hit the...
So as I mentioned earlier, you are going to be getting stereo audio when watching videos on this phone or doing anything else using the speakers. So it's especially nice when viewing video in a landscape format because you're getting audio coming out of both this side and that side. So that's definitely really awesome. As far as the actual picture looks, again, it would be a bit better if the display was OLED, but considering that it is LCD, I think it looks nice. You can crop in to get a more immersive video viewing experience, which is also a really good thing. So again, in general, it is a very good video viewing experience here with the LG K92 5G. Let's now do a hardware tour of the phone. So I already talked quite a bit about the front panel here, but again, a very large 6.7-inch display. And then we do have that hole punch for the front-facing camera. So I hope LG does continue to do designs similar to this phone because I feel like this is one of the best new designs that LG has done with a smartphone since putting out the LG G7. But taking a look at the left side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down. There is a dedicated Google Assistant button, which unfortunately you cannot reprogram. I do wish you could. So it is there, whether you want to use it or not. Then on the right side of the phone, we have the power button, which is also the fingerprint sensor. Then up top here, we have the noise canceling microphone, and then we also have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. Then on the bottom of the phone, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and then also the speaker. And then on the back side of the device, we have the camera module, and then we also have the flash, Cricut logo, and then the LG logo as well. And you can see on the back of the phone, it does pick up quite a few fingerprints. So I do wish that LG had gone with a frosted finish on the back instead of a glossy finish. So maybe in the next generation of this phone, they'll make that switch. Now I know some people might mention in the comments that LG has a pretty interesting camera module setup here. Whether they make it a rectangle or a square or it's vertical or horizontal, it all kind of does the same thing. I'm definitely more concerned about the actual quality from the cameras rather than how they're situated on the back of the phone. But I think this works totally fine, and it is definitely a very practical setup here. The only thing that you might want to be a bit mindful of is watching to make sure that you don't put fingerprints over the actual cameras themselves, because then your photos won't look quite as good as they possibly could look. So I would definitely wipe down the cameras, whether it's with this phone or any phone, on a pretty constant basis, just so that your photos do look very clear. So in general, is the LG K92 5G worth getting? Is this a good phone? Is this a wise purchase? I'm actually very impressed with it. Like I said, I feel like this is one of the more interesting phones that LG has put out over the last couple of years. I also like it because it is being offered at some really good discounts. Now definitely make sure to check out the websites for AT&T and Cricut to see those discounts because they are always changing. But one thing's for sure, do not pay $399 for this phone. I'm pretty sure you can't even do that if you wanted to, because all the places where you can get the phone are already offering it at a significant discount. But for $250 or even $300, this phone is a really good deal, and you are getting some really solid hardware with good cameras. I also like that we're getting NFC, and in general, we're getting a very good design here with small bezels and then that hole punch camera design. So in general, I would say that the LG K92 5G is definitely a good option, and especially if you're kind of comparing it to the other phones that are being offered in the prepaid space. But this is Kevin here. I hope you enjoyed my review of the LG K92 5G. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.